and by tomorrow.
WeatherScope.
Well, we've got two major stories tonight.
Right.
Number one, the
Yes.
snow in the Midwest heading east. And number two is the rain in the Northeast.
Right.
So what are all these other papers doing here? We've got a lot of other stories. That's what it's all about.
I think you're right.
Don't laugh at that. Good evening and welcome to WeatherScope. I'm Dave Schwartz.
And I'm Kim Perez. Showers are also covering parts of the Pacific Northwest. I guess another. Which
That's
one is that
of these
one?
other stories. Well,
Okay.
that's this one.
Okay. But we'll begin with a look at the snowstorm that slammed the Windy City earlier today with up to 10 inches of snow. Whew. I'll tell you what a night to be out and about. Probably not a good night to be out and about around the Great Lakes or in the Ohio Valley. It is snowing. It is windy out there tonight. This is an Arctic front, and it's brought a lot of cold air and a lot of wind with it too, and snowfall. And we're not just going to see snow because of the front coming through or the upper level trough, but because of lake effect snow. We'll talk about that in a second. But what about the history of this storm? There's a lot of history with this storm. And Dave's going to talk about the severe aspect of the storm, but I guess this is severe too as far as snow is concerned. Over a foot of snowfall here, tremendous amounts of snow, even into Michigan. We have reports of over 12 inches of snow, a little bit of lake effect going on now into Berrien County, but in Ottawa County, it was not a day to be outside. Hopefully you didn't get stuck, and hopefully you were taking it slow out there on the roadways, because if you didn't, look what happens here. You try everything you can to try to get out of those snow drifts, but sometimes it just does not work. It's just better to stay in and wait the storm out. And it looks like that snow may be continuing through the evening. Those northwesterly winds, that's a perfect trajectory for lake effect snow. The lakes are not frozen, so we will see that snow probably continuing through the next 24 hours or so until those winds change around. We have a lot of cold air coming in too. Now in Chicago, the snow is ending, and we have Kristen Dodd reporting live from Chicago. And Kristen, I heard the power is out for many areas there in Chicago. Is that still going on tonight?
We are still seeing numerous power outages here in Chicago and in the outlying suburbs. As much as 260,000 residents now without electricity here in Chicago. Same scenario just off to our south in northwest Indiana, where they also had snow and strong winds blowing down the power lines. 135,000 people now without electricity. And shelters are open in the area for folks who need them, because when you don't have the power, that means you don't have heat, and we could see some problems later on tonight. Earlier this morning, we had plenty of problems on the roads and at the airports. At O'Hare Airport, they had the plows out on the runways trying to clear everything off. It didn't do much good, as we did see all the arrivals temporarily canceled early this morning for several hours, and only limited departures heading out of O'Hare Airport, as they had about a half of a foot of snow on the ground. Same scenario at Midway, with about 11 inches on the ground there. On the roads, the heavy snow and blowing snow reduced visibilities. A lot of cars ended up in the ditches, and as they tried to head on the exit ramps, the slick spots prevented many of the semi-trucks from even getting up those hills. Tonight, I am standing here along the Eisenhower, and we are seeing traffic flowing fairly well. We still could see a few slick spots out on the roadways, but it looks like for the morning commute, we should not see too many problems. But still the problems with the power outages, and that means that several school children are going to have the day off. 92 schools here in Chicago will be closed because they are also without power. Kim?
Thanks, Kristen. Probably making a lot of kids happy, maybe not their parents. Thanks for that live report, Kristen Dodd from Chicago. A lot of wind, as she talked about, some big problems here along the lakeshore too. Beach erosion just going on, and flooding problems here, so be careful. But the snow extends all the way into Tennessee tonight, and eventually it will get into the Northeast. We could see amounts over 6 to 12 inches. And again, a lot of this lake effect snow, but even Cincinnati picking up a couple of inches. How is this storm affecting the Northeast? Dave, take it away.
Well, the same way it affected the Southeast, Kim. Wet. It was rain rather than snow that made a mess of your day. Now here in Salem, New Hampshire, where it's been raining off and on most of the day, many commuters had to deal with streets and highways with standing water on them. And with over 3 or 4 inches of rain to have fallen in this area, there's a lot of flooding out there tonight, so be very careful. Hydroplaning is certainly a possibility, and we don't want you to lose control of your car. Here in the Northeast, flood watches remain in effect for all of southern New England. It is still raining in Salem, New Hampshire, and here are some other rainfall totals here as of 9 o'clock local time. Islip in Worcester over 4 inches, Hartford now over 3 inches, New York City 2 3/4, and Bridgeport and Atlantic City over 2 inches of rain. Willimantic, Connecticut, 4.5 inches of rain today. This cold front right in here is the dividing line between heavy rain, a few showers, and then behind this line, it's all snow. But let's get in on the wet side of this. Glad to show you that we're drying out here in Connecticut. There's still a chance for shower tonight, the rest of tonight, but it looks like the heaviest rain is now over and is pulling through Boston, Cape Cod, getting in on some rain too. These are the remnants of some severe thunderstorms that ripped off 3 roofs off of some homes here.